Hi guys, in this video I will present each available spell from Gothic 3. The video is segmented into 3 schools: Dominance, Summoning and Transformation Magic. Each magic school represents the influence of a god in this game universe. Remember, you can find timestamps in the description if you want to check out only specific spell for any reason. Let's get started. Dominance Magic. Light illuminates the area around the caster. It's useful in dark areas, especially when you need to fight in the dark and free the second hand, maybe for a shield. Summon Flaming Sword. Conjures a flaming sword to wield in melee battles. Very good for a battle mage, immersive roleplay. This one looks very nice. Fireball. Launches a ball of chargeable fire at the target, causing fire damage. An OG spell that was well known from the 2 previous games. Very fast, easy to spam in Gothic 3. Heatwave emits a wave of heat, damaging enemies in its path. If you have good timing, it can be very useful, but watch out as the casting time takes a moment and it's easy to get interrupted. Meteor calls down a meteor from the sky, dealing massive area damage. Most of the time it will be able to one-shot most enemies, but be aware of high mana costs. Bless Weapon enchants a weapon, increasing its damage permanently, adds 10 damage to the weapon. It's kind of funny that you can bless the demon sword in this game.
No.
Fire Rain summons a rain of fire, causing area damage to enemies. This spell was a bet in Gothic 1 and overpowered in Gothic 2. In Gothic 3 it feels like a good compromise between both. Again, this is another high mana consumption spell. Banish Evil expels evil creatures from the vicinity. Its power depends on ancient knowledge statistic. With good numbers you will probably be able to one-shot most of the undead. Same as Fireball, we can spam it pretty fast or charge if needed. Healing restores the caster health, something you won't use too often thanks to alchemy and healing potion. Word of Dominance commands a target to obey the caster's will, a spell I didn't use even once in any of my runs, but it has huge potential, especially combined with healing magic. We can use most of the NPCs to solve our problems this way.
I said stop using magic. Smart boy.
Heal Other restores health to another character. This synergizes well with Word of Dominance if you want to roleplay a summoner who heals their minion during the fights. Cure Disease removes diseases affecting the caster or target. Another nice to have spell, but it could easily be replaced by alchemy and potions. Cure Poison neutralizes poisons in the caster or target, same story as with the Cure Diseases. Summoning Magic. Poison inflicts poison on the target, causing damage over time. The damage depends on the enemy's life energy, could be useful during longer fights with tougher enemies.
Stop right there.
Lightning Bolt strikes the target with a bolt of lightning, a great alternative to Fireball, which in my opinion looks much more better. Terror instills fear in enemies, causing them to flee. A cool looking and funny spell usually. I want my experience and don't want enemies to run away, which is why I didn't use this often. Good for a demonic thief roleplay who doesn't want guards to be near locked chest, but I don't think it's any better. Fog. Creates a fog that obscures vision. This spell can be useful when you are overpowered by enemy numbers, giving you a great opportunity to strike back and time for casting more powerful area of effect spell. Summon Lightning calls down lightning to strike multiple enemies, a great alternative to Meteor. Honestly, this is one of my favorite spells. This one looks very epic. Army of Darkness summons undead creatures to fight alongside the caster. I find this spell nice in theory. In practice it feels like a joke, mostly due to the AI of minions in Gothic 3. Army of Darkness in Gothic 2 was great, Gothic 1 was also fine, but in Gothic 3 it feels like watching a farm full of chickens that can't catch a small worm. Summon Demon. Summons a demon to assist in battle. Same story as with any other summoning powers. The AI is just too bad, but the demon looks really nice. Summon Skeleton summons a skeleton warrior to aid the caster. Funny how the single skeleton AI is, in my opinion, the best choice from all of summoning magic, because it manages to land hits and even stuns enemies from time to time. Soul Travel allows the caster's soul to travel outside their body. This spell is cool, but developers didn't implement many opportunities to utilize it. It's good to scope out caves if you don't want to use the F5 and F9 buttons for quick save and quick load. Bloodlust increases the target's aggression, causing them to attack others. A spell that is really good if you want to silently start chaos among your enemies from the shadows and wait for them to finish each other off. Amnesia causes the target to forget recent events. It's tricky to use because the target can't be focused on you during the cast time, otherwise it won't work.
Not like that. There is no honor in this con you want. Can't you see that you're...
Night to day changes the time from night to day. Is it only me, or is this totally nonsense to have such a spell in summoning magic, which is supposed to represent Beliar's domain? I would expect day to night here, or something more in line with Inno's magic of dominance instead. It doesn't make sense that a follower of Beliar would turn night into day. Dark mages want to be more edgy. Transfer disease transfers a disease from the caster to the target. I never used that. I'm not even sure if it works properly. It looks nice, but I don't feel like it is useful at all. Transformation magic. Hailstorm summons a storm of ice, damaging enemies in the area. This is one of the most efficient and powerful spells in the game, and it's my second favorite looking spell. Hail to the Storms reminds me kind of about epic scenes from book series called Stormlight, Archive and Kaladin storyline. Ice Explosion causes a burst of ice damaging and freezing nearby enemies. Good spell, not much to add to this one, looks and sounds good. Frostwave releases waves of ice damaging and freezing enemies. I would say this is the worst version of the Ice Explosion, which causes freezing more often and could be easily interrupted. Summon Golem. Summons a Golem to fight for the caster. Actually, I shouldn't say fight because of its AI. It does low damage, but it looks nice and is a good tank. Time Bubble creates a bubble where time slows down, one of the best spells for better utilizing other spells that take time to cast. It's a great alternative to the fog spell. Summon Goblin summons a Goblin to assist in battle. This fella is at least fast, but you can't summon more than one like in Gothic 2, so yeah, this is dead magic, Skeleton is better. Summon Animals summons animals to aid the caster. It kind of works like Bloodlust for animals, so it's kind of confusing calling it summoning. Feels like some rubbish magic then. Druids are crazy. Tame calms a wild animal, making it friendly to the caster. Again, Adon's druid magic. I have a weird feeling they were playing Baldur's Gate 3 and saw the Halcyon scene. Animal Form transforms the caster into an animal. This is definitely Halcyon doing from Baldur's Gate 3, but yeah, you can transform into animals. Sorry to say that, but we do not have bears in Gothic 3, so any roleplayers will be disappointed. Sleep. Puts the target to sleep. It's funny to use. I believe this is the best spell for thieves, making the job easier.
Let me sleep in peace. The orcs are whatever.
Open locks unlocks locked doors or chests, another thief-friendly spell if we don't want to learn skills to open locks. Telekinesis allows the caster to move objects from a distance, one of the best utility spells in the Gothic universe for navigating across the map and finding hidden items by accident, or simply for reaching items from far away. Those are all the spells I had to present to you. I had a lot of issues running Gothic 3 on Windows 11, so if any of you get stuck like I did, I recommend visiting the official Discord server or browsing the available guides to follow up the patching process. I have included a few instructions in the description on how I managed to get Gothic 3 running on my computer, so feel free to check them out if you run into trouble. Thankfully, I have heard that this won't be an issue in the near future, as THQ Nordic is expected to release a patch to address the game's modern compatibility problems. Thanks a lot for watching, I hope you enjoyed my material. See you next time, adventurer.